Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And maybe you were thinking, which veteran wheel should I buy? Well, fear no more. This video is for you. We will compare from the smallest, cheapest wheel, the LeaperKim Patton-S, to the most expensive and latest wheel, the LeaperKim Oryx, and everything in between. So, let me tell you more about it. Wrong way. So in this video, I will try to focus what purpose each one of those wheels fulfill, because we came to a point where wheels are just great. They have good specs, they charge quickly, they have nice tires, everything about those wheels is already pretty okay. And you can also check out the specs for yourself in order to find out which wheel is actually made for you. And if you want to check out the specs, feel free to check out monocolor.eu. This is the sponsor of this video, and you can also use my coupon code WRONGWAY for a 5% discount on your electric unicycle purchase on this site. I also do get a little bit of a kickback from those orders, so thank you for purchasing your wheels there. So let's focus first on what all of those wheels have in common, where they're all pretty heavy, starting from 37 kilograms up to 57 kilograms on the LeaperKim Oryx. They are all performance-based, they have a lot of power, they go pretty fast, all of them go faster than 50 kilometers an hour easy, and they all have plenty of torque. And somehow am I riding backwards? I think I am. So they all are high-performance machines. The question is, what are the differences when you actually ride them? All of those electric unicycles have a hydraulic spring coil-based suspension, so no air leaking anytime soon. Now, there's a key difference between those three wheels and the Oryx in terms of suspension. I'll talk about the nuances in a second, but in those three wheels, we have this kind of fast ace shock, which is upside down. Here we have the motor clamp, and it's tried and tested. It works. It does work in the long run. However, because of the design, the wheel tends to be just maybe not as precise as other designs of suspension. Especially here, I'm thinking about the Bigot Blitz or the Emotion V14. And with the Oryx, we have a new shock design where you can see that this is the slider mechanism. It goes all the way through from the bottom to the top. A new mounting mechanism. So here, those 6 screws instead of those 8 screws on the top. And supposedly, this should give you a little bit more travel. Well, we have here, what, 80 millimeters, or 90 even? 90 millimeters. And on those two, we have 80 millimeters and 70 millimeters on the Patton. So supposedly with this new technology, the Oryx should be the sort of sturdiest feeling wheel. And I gotta say, I rode it a little bit. It feels this way, kind of. Now, all of those wheels come with my favorite screen on electric unicycles, which is this signature sort of LeaperKim screen, where you can see a lot of parameters on the fly, like trip odometer, temperature of the main board, etc. But there's also access to further settings if you press and hold the OK button. So you don't really need the app if you want to access your advanced settings. So you can also turn on and off the light, and this is the power button or the button that turns on and off the tail light. Really, really handy screen, and it's nice that you don't always need to use the app. However, if you do want to use the app, well, the main screen doesn't look all that fancy. Very, very simple, just shows you the temperature here and battery level and power draw, some other parameters here, but here you have the smart BMS. So it's really nice that LeaperKim cares about safety. You can check both sides of the wheel where the batteries are housed if everything is all right with them. You have also some additional settings here, which I won't go deep into. You can just check out my other LeaperKim reviews, but mainly in vehicle control, you can access all of your sort of ride characteristics. Really nice to see, and they do provide updates. You can update the wheel, and you have more functions than on your LeaperKim electric unicycle. All right, so we talked about what those wheels have in common, but what is different about them? Well, I would say that for 90% of the riders, perhaps, the Patton-S is more than enough. Pat on ass. Just thought about it. Anyway, the Patton-S has a pretty substantial battery. For me, the range is about 70 to 80 kilometers. And the suspension works, you know, as a veteran suspension does. Pretty smooth. It has the smallest diameter tire, so it will be the easiest to accelerate on and the easiest to climb with. And it's also the lightest, 37 kilograms. So if you want to actually pick it up and go somewhere with it, you can do it, but you know, don't be fooled. Wheels are small, but they're not light. It has a light that is sadly blinding. Just the Oryx has a light that is not blinding. The taillights are very solid. It has a kickstand, and the pedals are the usual veteran style milled-in studs. You can always upgrade to something better. I'll show you all of the upgrades that are possible on a wheel when I'll show you the veteran Lynx. Now, the trolley handle design is not my favorite. It's a bit wibbly wobbly, and it can get damaged if you fall and for some reason crash in some of this area. But if you ride like a normal person, i.e. not me, then you should be good to go. So for going on group rides, this wheel will be great. For doing everyday errands, this wheel is great. This wheel just has pretty much everything that you need, and you don't necessarily need a big, even heavier and more expensive wheel in order to get around the city. What this wheel is not made for, though, is very difficult off-roading because your feet are kind of close to the front tire, so it's easier to scrape the pedals. It has slightly less suspension travel, which makes it a bit more difficult to, you know, go over bigger bumps, and it has just slightly less range than the other wheels, maybe less stability at higher speeds too. But honestly, going fast on an electric unicycle is not necessarily safe, so I really don't consider it to be a con. So that's the Patton-S for you. Let's go to the veteran Lynx. Oh my God, I can do it. Oh, I can do it. I have a wheel head. Look at this baby. Doesn't even look like a veteran Lynx anymore, does it? Well, this veteran Lynx is fully kitted out, and it survived a lot. And I mean, a lot. Yes, this is the wheel that I crashed with in Vienna. Here, let's first talk about the upgrades. By the way, wrong way coupon applies there as well, both at Nylonov, which are the pedals that are a lot better than the stock pedals. Look at those studs. Those pedals are made out of nylon. They're very durable, very grippy. And from Nylonov as well, we have the bumper kit. In the front, we have a custom light with a pink daytime running light, which I love. And we also have a different beam here, so this light actually doesn't blind others like the usual veteran lights do. Of course, we also have a set of Grizzly sink pads. Let that sink in. This is my choice for extreme hardcore off-roading. Those are my go-to pads for really tough stuff. Now, the veteran Lynx is the high-performance off-road champion, and this is the wheel to go if you want to go really hardcore on an electric unicycle. It can go up 45-degree inclines with ease. It has more clearance, as you can see, from the pedals to the front wheels. So climbing steep hills, doing steep jumps is not a problem for this wheel. It is pretty bulletproof. I mean, this wheel survived so much and it's still riding. However, you know, veteran software, I always have some sort of small dislikes about it, but you can get used to it. You can get around it. Now, the Lynx has a slightly bigger battery. Usually I have around 100 to 110 kilometers of range on this wheel. It's slightly faster. It has slightly more suspension travel, 80 millimeters as said, but it's also heavier. 41 kilograms of wheel, not really easy to pick up. And because of the bigger tire, will be a bit more difficult to learn on this wheel. So if you're just starting out, probably the Patton. It's easier to learn on or show your friends than this behemoth. The trolley handle design is the same as on the Patton, so not my favorite, but it's a little bit more protected, especially with this rear Nylonov bumper. You can see that I don't have any kickstand on this wheel. Stock, it does come with one, but it's a little bit annoying, especially when you push the wheel around or if you go really hardcore off-roading. Man, this machine survived so much. Now, those two wheels that I talked about are still relatively, well, they're not light, but they're manageable for off-road tasks and fun stuff. This starts to be not so much the case because the veteran Sherman-L weighs like over 46 kilograms, even maybe 47, depending on which accessories you have on it and which pads you have. So this is heavy. This is best designed for heavier riders, and by that I mean over 80, 90 kilograms of weight. The heavier you are, essentially, the easier it will be for you to ride on this wheel. It also has the signature, you know, side toe hook for veteran, which is nice for adjusting the height of your shoe, which, by the way, all of those wheels have that. But please don't tighten it too low, because those things don't move. And if you crash, you don't want to be stuck in those pads. The 4,000 watt-hour battery on this thing and the quick charging will get you places. So I can't even remember did I make a range test? I can't remember. But definitely you can go over 150 kilometers on that wheel, which is crazy. You can easily sit down on it, and yet it's still fairly manageable for most of the day-to-day tasks. Now this wheel also has the new veteran trolley handle design, which is this element here. Boom. Feels a lot sturdier. I prefer this design over the flimsy back trolley handle. This is a nice touch by veteran. So this wheel, definitely on the heavier side. You can do high performance stuff with it, but it will just take a lot more effort. Other than that, you know, the familiar pedals, we have a nice kickstand that doesn't go in the way, even if you go down steep declines or inclines or hilly stuff. The veteran Sherman-L, this will be your long range ride. And if you're on a group ride, if you are just going across the city, if you're going even between cities, like, this is a pretty solid choice for those longer rides. Now the veteran Oryx is huge. It's the biggest wheel of them all. And this is the non-plus, oh my goodness. This is the non-plus ultra of veteran. Like, they went in and just wanted to make the hugest, most extreme wheel possible, and they succeeded. It has the biggest battery of them all, 4,700 watt-hours, so it should be even more range than on the veteran Sherman-L. Now, the biggest difference for me on this wheel is the tire. It's so ginormous. I think it's about 3.5 inches wide. It's 22 inches in diameter, well, tire to tire. What's the rim like, Serge? Is it 15? 16 inches rim. This just gives you such a huge gyroscopic effect that you go 30 on it, chill, 40, 50, probably even 60, and you sit down on it and you're just comfortable. The only thing you need to watch out for is that if you accelerate and you're sideways or there's a lot of wind gusts, it's tough to get it back on its track. So you need to lean a lot on this wheel, both when accelerating, when braking, when turning. This wheel is just a workout. So the heavier you are, the better you'll feel on this wheel. Now, personally, I'm a sucker for big wheels. I like big, weird wheels, and this is a big, weird wheel. But the thing is that compared, for example, the Emotion V13 I was testing back in the day and compared to the Master Pro, this thing has torque. And this thing has torque for days. So having those pedals higher up, which by the way are also height adjustable, having this huge tire, which is like miles away from your toes, actually also makes it a pretty solid wheel for off-roading. You just need to never stop, because starting with this wheel, not easy. Now the Oryx also has a sort of motorcycle style light. So it also has a cutoff beam. Maybe you can show on my hand here. Boom. And brighter setting as well. It also has a daytime running light, so you can either make it shine or blink. Now, I don't know if it will come with a seat in the box, but here we have a very, very nice seat, which is very long and comfortable. And in order to access the trolley handle, you just pull the seat back, and then you have the trolley handle. Boom. Also comfortable and, well, pretty tall actually for such a wheel. Very sturdy as well. I'm so happy they went away from those flimsy plastic trolley handles. Now, looking at the back, we have taillights that are similar to what we have on the Lynx, almost the same. Charge port here, and by the way, this wheel, how can I access it easy? This wheel is 176 volt. So the highest voltage of them all, pretty insane. I saw Therapeutico go 100 kilometers an hour on it. It's pretty nuts. We have a solid mudguard, and we also have a kickstand which folds away. That's brilliant. So for heavy off-roading, you can just put it up. You want to put it back on the kickstand, here it is. Now the pads, I'm pretty about, I have to say, because those pads, they're just like literally Grizzly Flow ripoffs. So I don't know, it's so difficult to make a court case about, you know, copyright infringement on stuff that has been made, but come on, this is literally Grizzly Flow. And the back pad is huge, a triple pad. Well, you need a lot of pad to make this wheel go. So the Oryx is for the rider that already has some experience, because if you just put your foot on it when you start riding, it might be tough to learn on it. It might be even impossible. So if you're a seasoned rider and you're looking for more stability, more clearance, and gliding all over the streets, gliding over off-road paths, and importantly, don't stop. And if you stop, you want a workout, well then the Oryx is for you. This is the intercity cruiser. So right now I am on the monocle.eu site to tell you about the pricing. The Patton-S is the cheapest at 3,100 euro. So as said, for most of the stuff you do in the city, if you just want to commute, if you just want to have a little bit of fun, like this is plenty, and this is also the cheapest of them all. It's not cheap by any regard because you can have a lot of stuff for 3,000 euro, but hey, if you are already in this video, I guess you know about that. Now, when it comes to the Lynx, it is for 3,700 euro, so about 600 euro more expensive. For 3,700 euro, the Veteran Lynx is your entrance into the performance electric unicycle world. So quite a bit more expensive than the Patton, but also a bigger tire, slightly more battery, and a lot more capability when it comes to hardcore off-road riding. Slightly more range, but you know, as said, for most of the daily tasks, you'll be probably happier with that, and it will be easier to learn on you on a wheel with that. Now, currently, I think those prices are discounted because usually the Sherman-L costs 4,600 euro here, but is discounted to 4,000. So just a small price difference between those two, but the Sherman-L is the long-range king. And while the Oryx has more battery, the Sherman-L is the more reasonable choice for like most cases because it's easier to put into a car if you want to go somewhere. It's easier to carry up and downstairs, although still very difficult, just a bit more manageable. Easier to accelerate, easier to brake, easier to turn. Just talking about the pure specs and the functionality, I think out of those two, this is the more reasonable option. Now, the Oryx is the latest and greatest, and this is the wheel I also tested the least out of those all. So I know those wheels by heart, and this one I just know by soft. No, I just don't know it. In any case, the Oryx is the chunker. It's the most motorcycle-like experience, and it will give you the biggest workout if you go somewhere. So if you just care about the biggest amount of stability and the biggest comfort when riding on longer rides without, you know, accelerating and braking a lot, and if you want to accelerate and brake a lot, you just need to have a workout, then the Oryx is fun. Like, it is for 4,700 euro. So, whew, that's a lot of money. But with that said, it has some cool new features. The fat tire, the huge diameter, the amazing torque with this huge diameter of a wheel is something special and not available in any other wheel on the market currently. Well, there's the Begode Race, but I don't know. It just raises my eyebrows in terms of my worry for long-term use of this wheel. So I hope that with this video, I could show you what wheel is made for what purpose. I have in the meantime become a car, which is actually functional. Can I back up? I think I can. Beep, beep, beep. Let me know what you think about those wheels. Let me know what you think about this video. And if you're still here, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.